All-Star Western issue number 10 from DC Comics. So yeah, this is a retro review, and this is a retro review of All-Star Western. Not the entire issue. I'm just going to be covering the very first appearance of Jonah Hex. And this came out in 1972. I love doing these retro reviews. I might be doing more of them in the future just because a lot of the newer comics are starting to lose me. It's a lot harder to find comics to review. But enough about that. Let's jump into the very first appearance of Jonah Hex. And the very first appearance is the story called Welcome to Paradise. Cold-blooded killer. Vicious. Unmerciful hellion. Without feeling. Without conscience. A man consumed by hate. A man who boded evil. That was Jonah Hex. So the very first image is Jonah Hex riding to town. He's riding to Paradise Corner. That's the name of the town. And he's dragging the dead carcass of two raiders that belong to this bandit named Jim. Jim's raiders have been going around. They've been causing a lot of trouble for this town. So this town has sent and hired Jonah Hex. And everybody is basically not really happy to see Jonah Hex. They kind of see him as a necessary evil. Like, they're glad that he's here to get rid of the bandits, but they don't want anything else to do with him. And the sooner that they can get rid of him, the better. So he rides with the two dead bodies, gives them to the sheriff, and the sheriff is like, thank you for your services. Here's your money. You're just in time. Three more Big Jim's Raiders have come into town about 20 minutes ago. They're in the saloon right now across the road. We want you to stop them. We want you to put an end to them. And of course, we'll pay you for that as well. So he's like, all right, sure, I can do that. So rather than, going through the salon doors, confronting the bandits like you would see like from a John Wayne or any other Western heroes, instead, Jonah Hex climbs up to the second story, goes into one of the prostitutes' rooms. He kind of viciously grabs her by the mouth and tells her to shut up. Basically, he says, keep your mouth quiet or I'm going to unpretty your face. So, yeah, he's not the most nice of dudes. But he opens up the door leading into the saloon. And that's when he sees that Jim's men are already aware of him. They're all like standing basically by the entrance and they're kind of have their guns trained, ready to blast him as soon as he makes his appearance. But instead, he says, I'm right sorry to disappoint you, bushwhacking skunks, but you're all facing in the wrong direction. I'm up here. And they look up just in time for Jonah Hex to use his two revolvers and just litter them with bullets. So he kills two of them. The third one makes a break for it, and Jonah goes to chase after him when the small boy walks across Jonah and causes him to trip and fall. And then Jonah gets pissed off at the kid. It's like, you made me miss my shot. I have half a mind to, and he's basically like, I have half a mind to slap the crap out of you. He basically says, get out of here before I teach you some manners. And so boy leaves. And sheriff shows up. He's like, well, I see you got two more of the raiders. Here's two more $100. He's like, don't worry, gentlemen. Like, I'll come and collect that later. Instead, I'm going to go get my horse. And I'm going to go take care of the rest of the raiders, and then I'll come back and I'll collect all my money. So he goes to collect his horse when he sees that the man who was taking care of his horse is getting ready to whip Hex's horse. And it's like, you don't mess with Jonah's horse. So Jonah just punches him, knocks him out with one blow, and then he gets on his horse to go chase after the other raiders. And that's when we cut to a cabin miles from town where we see Jim and the surviving raider who had made his escape. Basically, they talk about how Jonah's a freak, how there's something wrong with his face. It looked like he was kicked in by a mule. And this is kind of setting up for the payoff where we actually see Jonah's face. Because throughout all this, we see only like one half of Jonah's face. The other half is always covered in shadows. And anyone who's familiar with Jonah Hex, you already know what the reveal is going to be. But at the time of this, obviously no one knew about Jonah Hex or his disfigurement. So also love how, like, one of the things I love also about reading these retro comics is the old school ads that we see. We see this one with like some kind of like drift car toy. And then earlier we saw another one where it was like the insult that made a man out of Mac. So basically we have Mac, who's like this little shrimpy, skinny, nerdy guy who like all the other dudes like kick sand in his face and stuff. So Mac like takes some kind of course and becomes a real man and punches his bully and knocks him out. And then it's like, oh, Mac, you are a real man after all. uh, I just love some of these. But some of them can get kind of weird. I did a retro review for like one of the comics that came out like in the 40s, and one of the ads was to join the Nazi party. And it was like a legitimate ad. It's like, holy cow. But back to the issue itself. So the raider that escaped earlier, the non-gym raider, goes out to get some water from a well when he sees Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex is silhouetted in shadow, but then he goes to light his cigar, and as he lights his cigar, that's when his face gets revealed. And we see that the left half of his face is normal, but the right half of his face is all like melty looking and messed up, especially around the cheek. It's like there's like holes in it, so you can see his teeth and stuff. It's like just really messed up. Non-Jim goes to reach for his pistol, but Jonah is quicker on the draw and blasts him. Now it's just Jim. Jim's all that's left. And Jim dives out the window, thinks he has a good shot on Jonah, but it turns out to just be a tree. And he's like, damn it, I don't have time to reload. I gotta get to my horse and I gotta get the hell out of here. Gets on his horse, makes his escape, runs for a good while. Eventually he gets off because he thinks he's lost Jonah. But when he looks, he sees the silhouette of Jonah on his horse staring down on him. He's like, oh no, like he's followed after me. I gotta hide. I gotta go somewhere. I gotta do something. That's when he sees just a farmhouse, an isolated farmhouse. And as he's rushing inside, Jonah shows up with the corpse of the previous raider hanging off his horse. And he just kind of stops, calmly gets off, loads his revolver. He's like, anytime you're ready, skunk, just come out and I'll blast you. And that's when Jim emerges from the farmhouse and he's holding a woman hostage. And it turns out that the woman is the mother of this young boy. And the boy, of course, the boy that tripped Jonah by accident earlier. And of course, Jonah is like, all right, damn it. Like usually I would have no problem blasting, but I can't have you witnessing your mom being brutally murdered. That's fine. All right. So he unbuckles his guns, drops them, tells Jim to let the woman go. So Jim shoves the woman, jumps on his horse, and tries to run away. And as he's trying to ride away, Jim grabs a knife that he had hidden in his collar and chucks it at Jim, impaling him in the back, killing him. And then Jonah goes, collects his guns, carries the woman into the farmhouse, and basically tells the kid, like, why the hell didn't your like Paul like help you? Like, what the hell's going on here? He finds out that kid's dad's dead. Kid asks Jonah to come back and visit, try some of my mom's like apple dumplings. They're really good. And Jonah's like, whatever. Goes back into town, gets his money. And as he's getting his money, he's like, you know what? This place actually isn't so bad. Like, it seems like a fit place for decent folks to live. Is there like any farmhouses like around here that, I can buy? Like, I'm kind of interested in settling down somewhere. Maybe I'd like to settle down here on the edge of town. And of course, as soon as he says that, the sheriff and like the mayor and stuff like that, they're like, there was a house, but it just got sold. In fact, we don't have any other houses. There's not one house for sale. Basically, they're lying. They don't want Jonah to be anywhere in this town. They don't want him around. So he's like, well, whatever. He basically turns into a tsundere here. He's like, it's not like I wanted to live in this stinking desert hole anyways. Why would I want to die in a place like this? So basically, he's trying to hide the fact that he's kind of hurt, that no one wants him around. So he rides off, and he starts thinking, you know what, maybe I'll go check out the kid, try some of his ma's apple dumplings. But as he's starting to arrive, a bullet goes through his hat, just barely missing his head. And so he dives off his horse, gets ready to shoot, and it turns out to be the mother. and she basically says, "Yeah, you're the murdering hellion that became a hero to my son. I put a bullet through your hat to show that you're not welcome around here. Get the hell out of here. No one wants you around." And of course, Jonah is hurt once again that the people he's helping are just kind of treating him like crap. So he pulls another tsundere movie. He's like, "Well, I don't like you either. I don't want to be around here anymore. Like, you guys all suck." Gets on his horse, starts riding away. When he sees a little boy, the little boy has the classic stick with the little pouch filled with his things. And the boy wants to basically team up with Jonah. He's like, I want to join you. And, I want you to basically show me the ropes and I'll become your protege. And Jonah basically knows that this isn't a good life for this kid. So he tells the boy to scram, says, I hate you like poison. I don't ever want to see you again, in a sense. And he starts riding away. And as he's riding, he passes by the Welcome to Paradise Corners sign. And he just punches it and breaks the sign in half. And then he rides off into the desert. And that's it. That's the very first appearance of Jonah Hex. And of course, there's a couple other stories. Because All Western is like a Western anthology. So there's El Diablo and Batlash. But I'm not going to cover those. I just wanted to focus on just Jonah Hex. And I liked it. I thought this was really good. I haven't read too much of Jonah Hex. Usually the stuff I have read, like supernatural elements involved. I'm assuming Jonah Hex didn't start off as a weird Western. I mean, obviously in this one, it's just a basic regular story. The only thing, I guess, otherworldly would just be his deformed face. But even that's not like otherworldly. It's just his face is kind of messed up. And that can be explained in all kinds of ways. So I'm assuming eventually at some point it transitions into like a weird Western, but I like this. I thought this was cool. I always loved Western stories with heroes that are, I guess anti-heroes would be the best way. Like, I hate John Wayne and the John Wayne presentation of, the Western hero. I don't know. I just found like the whole goody two-shoe Boy Scout look to be kind of boring. Like, I always preferred like Clint Eastwood in The Man with No Name, or Sartana, or Django, or any of the other old school spaghetti Western heroes. Like, I like that more like gritty, kind of rough around the edges, anti-hero kind of characters. So Jonah Hex is like right up my alley. And I just kind of like the story about just this brutal, like kind of just terrible person trying to do good, but he does it in his own way. I mean, he's helping this town. He's doing it for money, but he obviously also just kind of wants to stay in a town that like is willing to have him. And the town, like, no one wants him around because of just his attitude and his disfigurement. And so you got this kind of sad hero who just goes around drifting, saving the day, but being thrown out as soon as he's done. But even other than that, like, just the action scenes, like the artwork and stuff is really good too. Like, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was awesome. I loved it. So there you go. There's All-Star Western, issue number 10, the very first of Jonah Hex. Hope you enjoyed. And if you have any recommendations for like retro reviews you would like to see, just let me know. Like, I love doing stuff like this. I especially love doing like the first appearance of so-and-so. I've done previous retro reviews for stuff like that, like first appearance of Red Sonja. I've done like Jack Kirby stuff, first appearance of Vampirella. I love doing like the first appearance of a superhero and kind of contrasting how they were when we first see them in the comic books compared to like how you see them now, or just kind of like seeing how they started. So yeah, if you have any recommendations, like, oh, you should go check out this comic or something, let me know. I especially want to do stuff that's like, I just got to read one issue. Like, if it's something like arcs, I'll put them on the list, but I'll get to them like when I get to them. But if it's just like, oh, it's just one issue, or even something like this where it's just like a third of an issue, that's a lot easier and quicker for me to get, review videos out for. So if you got any recommendations and stuff that you would like to see, just let me know. But yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, And if you did enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlists that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.